What's up, squad? It's Brandon from the Bantu Sun. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad to bring you some great news coming out of Ethiopia, and that is Ethiopia has opened a stock exchange. So the Ethiopia Stock Exchange has opened, and their stock exchange, they used to have one, but it was shut down in the 70s in the military coup that overthrew Haile Selassie, Emperor Haile Selassie, and the junta members, they were called the Dirt, and the Dirt were a socialist group. So they implemented socialist policies. Another example of, I tell you guys all the time, if you see a communist or socialist, it's nothing you can do with a person like that way. That's a person that is, I always to this point I view them almost as a cult member. With the accompanying zealotry that comes with that. When a person says the history is no lie, right? How many times have we been able to compare and contrast liberalized market policies versus authoritarian or state-run policies? There's not even room for error. So anybody that still believe in these policies, obviously it's a cult connection there. They're not open for debate of any time. They're a person that it far more appeals to them that they feel as though they're doing good than actually doing good. And you just can't work with something like that, or it'd be very difficult to do such thing. So yeah, the socialists came in, they shut down Ethiopia's stock market, as long as implemented a lot of other bad policies that crippled the country. And Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, and I just made a video talking about where is African leadership, and I do think Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is one of the great geopolitical leaders of our time, and Africa has the benefit of having him as one of their leaders. Now, of course, he gets a lot of backlash because he is working on unification of the country. But that is the power game, like it or not. If he cannot unify Ethiopia to a strong singular state under strong central authority, it's going to subject the country. The stronger the more federal autonomous units become, the easier it is for outside countries to come in, infiltrate those autonomous units, and use them against the central government. And this is how it works in history. You don't believe me? Look at Syria. You don't believe me? Look at Afghanistan. Anytime these countries are overthrown, look at Libya. When these countries are overthrown, it's because outside actors come in, they find a disgruntled group, they arm them to a T, and then they send them to go take out the central government. And what Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is doing right now is trying to centralize the country. Now, granted, there's a limit you want to go, but this was what the American Civil War was all about as well. Like, you can't have a bunch of strong autonomous regions. The Union knew that, and they went out there and they had to remove the autonomy from the Confederacy. So this is what Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed is getting a lot of grief from back home, is he's using a lot of strongman policies because it's obviously the shortest distance between 2 points for him to unify the country. And geopolitically speaking, he's looking for. He's looking for port access. You can't have a country of over 100 million people and growing with no access to the sea. As I always say, Ethiopia is the most populous landlocked country in the world. It's absolutely utterly ridiculous for a country to have that many people and doesn't even have direct access to the sea. And he's going about that by mitigating his reliance on Djibouti by building stronger relationships with Somaliland. Another aspect of that is he's worked to try to mitigate some of the tensions that Ethiopia has had with Eritrea, amongst other things. But he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's trying to accomplish. And just like Erdogan is doing similar things in Turkey, you have to take your hat. This is one of the great geopolitical leaders of our time. Africa, the continent, is lucky to have him to be he's a forward-thinking leader. And I think it's a lot that he's going to be able to teach if people are willing to listen on the continent and the world over more for that. Going back to the stock market, of course, I would love to invest in it. It looks really interesting. I just want to put money in it just to show my support. Of course, because right now there's only one stock, and that one stock is the Weekhagen Bank. So this bank is it's a retail bank. So I have not been a customer of theirs, but I'm assuming you can just go up there, open up an account in Ethiopia. But yeah, I would love. I gotta look in how I can invest in it. If they're gonna be ADRs or some type of other ways to do so, but I'd love to invest in this. It's scheduled. It's expected that it's gonna be up to 90. It's gonna be 90 companies listed on the stock exchange over the next decade. So it's gonna be growing, and this really, and of course, a lot of people out here talk about investing in Africa. Of course, we all know about Africa, known for their riches. And this is the great thing about Ethiopia as well. Ethiopia, of course, known famously, infamously for not being, some would say, the only country in Africa not to be colonized, depending on what your definition of the word colonized is. But Ethiopia is considered the only country in Africa not to be colonized. You can tell this by their language. They don't speak a European language. They still speak their indigenous. They still write their indigenous script. Their calendar is different. They have a different vibe. Their dance is different. Everything to them is very unique and indigenous because they were able to resist foreign intervention, and that's for a lot of reasons. Ethiopia is one of the most mountainous countries on the continent of Africa, and you know, as we say here, mountains are extremely difficult to conquer. So the ROI wasn't there in Ethiopia as well as it was inland. So the ROI wasn't there in Ethiopia as far as it was in some other places for colonizers or would-be colonizers, as well as Ethiopia did a great standing for themselves and resisting Italian invasion and maintaining their sovereignty. So Ethiopians, they have a swag, and it's a well-earned swag that they've had from their ability to resist outside pressures on their country and to unify this countries, relatively multi-ethnic countries. If you think about the Amharas or almost the Somalis, etc. And so you have all this. You have Ethiopian being a leader in this space right now on the continent. And a lot of people say, if you're going to invest in Africa, of course there's resources, but Ethiopia isn't known for its natural resources. They have some of the best growth rates, not only on the continent, but in the world. So they're building their growth off of their people, which is a great way. They're building off the skill and know-how and the productivity of their people. This isn't a banana economy that's getting rich off of one resource like oil or gold during a boom that's going to be here today, going tomorrow type of thing. They're slowly building up, they're rapidly building up their economy over time in increments. So things that most people think about with Africa, you want to invest in mineral industries. But what I'm hearing, a lot of growth in Africa from the investment point of view are going to come from things such as finance. I mean, more likely your banks, but consumer goods, construction, various industries. Telecoms is another one. Various industries that are more direct to the consumer in Africa that's going to benefit greatly from the coming population surge. So this is a testament to Ethiopia's growth, a way of showing the world they want to liberalize their economy. They want a free flowing economy and market liberalization, because money is a coward, right? So obviously Ethiopia is going to have to build up trust to attract investors. And it's always going to be this balance, right? You want to make your home a place for investment where people want to grow and put money there, but you also want to maintain your sovereignty, and you don't want people to come in and take all their money and try to collapse your economy. Now, there's a balance to this, and I think Nigeria is an extreme case because that's one of the countries I've heard liquidity is horrendous in, and it's very hard to get your money back out. But as Ethiopia develops, these are things that started small, and that's another thing in life. Don't be scared to start small. They have one stock, and that's amazing. Because one stock begets 10 stocks, which gets 100 stocks, which begets 1,000 stocks, which begets 10,000, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? The longest journey starts with a single step. So I just think it's great news. Congratulations, Ethiopia. As I said, I can't wait to invest my money into this company and ride the Ethiopian tiger to the top as well. So great news on the continent, and this is something you can learn from. And it's not sitting around moaning and complaining about the past, but it's actually looking at the past, learning the lessons, and then implementing solutions that's been learned to try to change your conditions. And no one can get upset with anyone trying to empower themselves other than somebody that benefits from denying that group power or victimizing that group. So I'm a big supporter of what's going on right now, and all the best to Ethiopia. Congratulations. I'd love to hear your thoughts below on Ethiopian market liberalization steps as they look to open their economy. Because you got to remember as well, this is a great way to independence. Because how do people live, right? People live, they work, and then they look to retire. And a lot of developed countries that I've seen, the way they do this, and a lot of advanced countries that I've seen do this successfully, is they take um, the savings, or they'll take their portion of the check that you earn from your labor from being employed, and they invest it in the market. So it's this self-reinforcing thing. The people supports the company because the company's going to support the people. Because in the future, these companies are going to grow due to your consumership. These companies are going to grow, and then when you retire, you access your money, and now your money has appreciated and grown with that company. And that's how you maintain your independence, because you're not relying on other people's market. This is homegrown success, and that's a beautiful thing. So love to hear your thoughts. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you enjoy the content. Until next time, take care. Bantu up. Congrats, Ethiopia.